What's up, guys? Ricky here, Ricky Revo RC. So, like I said last time when I did the body for this thing, the motor's shot, it's making all kinds of noises. Well, time for an upgrade. Alright, guys, like I said, the Wraith needs an upgrade. So I did a lot of research and I was checking around and I checked out the Sidewinder systems. They were nice, but I was watching a few videos and like I said, bunch of research, and I think I wanted to go with a censored system. So I also did a lot of research on waterproofing and what people thought about the systems and stuff like that, and it was 50-50 as far as what other people were saying about it. So first thing I need to do is waterproof. I mean, they say the speed controller case is water resistant, dust resistant, all that good stuff. But from what I read on different forums and stuff like that, it's not as waterproof as everybody thinks. So again, I did some research, and the best waterproofing I found for censored brushless systems was actually Harley Designs had a pretty good video on it. So he uses the Corrosion X. He says it works pretty good for him. I've tried the liquid electrical tape thing and plastic dip and stuff like that, and it worked okay. I've had a few speed controllers fry because of it, but maybe I just didn't do a good enough job. But this just is a much cleaner, from what I saw, it looks like a much cleaner method of waterproofing. And like I said, I tried the other ones, and why not try this one? He seems to like it. He says it works for him, so I'm going to give it a whirl. So I'm going to go ahead, open this all up, and we're going to start waterproofing. Alright, guys, so I started taking the motor apart for the sensor board to see what was going on in here. And I pulled the cap off here, and it's got this nice thick rubber gasket inside there. And it's also got this little paper gasket here. So I don't think I'm going to get too crazy with it. I think I'm just going to apply some dielectric grease on this and put it back together and try it out, see what it does. I'll fill these holes with a little dielectric grease, and I really don't think I need to go crazy with waterproofing this thing. It might be pretty well water resistant. So like I said, I'm just going to apply some dielectric grease all around here, put it up in here, cover everything pretty good, put it on some of that and put it together. And I mean, there's only one way to find out if it'll hold, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put some electric grease on this, put it back together, put some on the screws here, and I think I'm going to leave it just like that, the motor. And then we're going to check out the speed controller and see what we need to do on that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I just applied dielectric grease to the board back here, put a little bit in the bolts, I filled up the connector here, and I think that should be good enough. I put some in here too. I mean, really, guys, is it going to work? I don't know. There's only one way to find out. I know it's an expensive way to find out, but like I said, there's only one way to find out. Alright, guys, so after looking at this board and doing a little research, I mean, you could see a rubber seal there for the bottom, the circuit board, all that good stuff. And it does have a little bit of board exposed, as you guys can see there on the sides around there. So what I think I'm going to do is, I really don't want to take this apart. I mean, those screws are in there pretty tight. I mean, it's not just coming apart for me pretty easily, and that is a pretty nice seal on there. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to dip the whole thing just like this, just for a little extra, if you get what I'm saying. I mean, right up to the bottom, do just a careful dip. I mean, a very precise dip right up to that circuit board line there, and probably up close to the heatsink there as much as I can, and just leave that like that. See how that works. Now, I'm not trying to go like full submerge, I don't want to drive underneath a lake and just sit there and just cruise around on the bottom for freaking 45 minutes, I really just want splash resistant, and if I do get into a puddle or something deep, I could just go in and get out, and just kind of keep everything out. So I think this will do fine. I'm not really looking to go swimming with the Wraith, so I'm just going to dip this whole thing just like this and see how it goes. Alright, guys, now that everything's drying on the Corrosion X, I use a little liquid electric tape for a few other components. So as everything's drying, I'm gonna I gotta pull these panels off the Wraith and pull all the electronics out. All right, so I got the motor installed in the with the transmission. Here's the old motor, guys. This thing was just smoked. I mean, can you see that inside? I don't know if you can see that inside there, but it's just smoked. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the old speed controller out and see where we can put that new one. All right. So I'm fighting with this thing, beating it up. I feel like same thing happened last time I relocated the electronics. I was trying to make it work. The stock speed controller was so big, I actually had to put the receiver box right in the passenger compartment right here, which was fine. There's a couple things were a little stretched out over there, and I didn't want to do that again. And because this speed controller is so tiny, I'm actually able to mount the box way up front and actually put the speed controller behind it and still have plenty of room for my battery. I had to trim out these here on the interior, but I'm okay with that. I'll see if I could put a battery tray in there, something good like that, but it's pretty cool. So I just put this up here, and the way I mounted it actually worked out really well. I had a couple of wheel hexes left over from my e-Revo and a couple of screws, and I actually just put them right through the bottom mounting holes, and the front actually sits right up underneath this bar going across here. This bar right here, and it actually prevents it from going on. It actually fits really well. I mean, I got to take it back apart and put all my electronics in it before I actually snug it in place for good, but I mean, it's just a test fit, and it's going to work out really well. So alright guys, well, I'm having a heck of a time with all this wiring and all this stuff that's got to go in, and all these instructions, and finding out where everything's getting mounted in the Wraith. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I threw some liquid electrical tape on a few things. I'm putting a BEC in there, and I've never put a BEC in, so I had to figure out how to do the BEC. So I got that figured out, and a couple things are just drying, and once everything's dry, and I'm going to start wiring everything up and putting everything in its home, and we're going to fire it up and see how she goes. So bear with me, guys. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got everything tucked up into the box. I'm going to have some wire tightening to do when I'm done, but that's okay. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is a pain in the ass. There's so many freaking wires on this thing. I had to do the BEC. There's two separate switches. I mean, there's just excess wire everywhere. I mean, you know, some guys make this look easy, but this is my first censored system I'm doing, and the first BEC I'm putting in, so. But it's coming along. It's doing okay. Like I said, it's a pain, but I'm going to overcome. So there we go. We got the electronics all in. And as I showed you before, I'm going to mount the receiver box up in there with the two hex hubs. And that should hold it no problem. Pushes right up against that right there. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on real quick. And hopefully we can start tightening everything up. Plug the motor in. Put the chassis back in. I mean, right now it's just, I mean, you know, it's a mess. It's a mess. The Wraith is completely disassembled. It's funny. It feels like every time I got to do something on the Wraith, I feel like I got to disassemble it every time, which is fine. It's cool, but I don't know. My tools are starting to get a little worn out, so some of the screws don't want to always come out. But it's coming along, so I'm going to go ahead, mount this in there, see how it works, see if I can get everything mounted up, and hopefully soon enough get a battery in there, and hopefully this system runs. So I'm going to hop back to it, and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, so I got everything together, got the motor hooked up. Let's see if it works. I mean, nothing's programmed yet, nothing like that. Let's just see how it does. So throw our radio on. Oop. It's trying to do something. Oh, it steers. It goes forward. Goes backwards. Alright. I guess now I have to calibrate it. I guess. Yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and calibrate it, see what the instruction says about calibration and timing and all that stuff. So I'm gonna see about that. Whew. All right, guys. I honestly cannot believe all that crap fit in there. I can't believe I actually got it to fit in there. And there's really like no binding or anything. I mean, I got to do something else with the battery cable here. I'll probably route it up around or something like that, and something like that. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, it fit pretty well. The receiver box fit great, fit better than I thought it would. I mean, everything's in there. Yeah, I got to tidy up some wires, you know. Yeah, I got to mount my switches. But I'm just glad I got the thing in and I got it running. I got to program it too, because it keeps wanting to, I can hear it while it's just kind of sitting there in neutral, kind of want to get ready to go. So I just have to adjust all the endpoints and all that good stuff. But there it is, guys. It's in the Novak timbuk2 Wraith Edition. Alright, so first censored system I've used. It was a lot more difficult to put in than any Castle regular old just motor speed controller setup I've ever put in. That was a lot of work. I mean, the BEC, all that stuff, putting everything together, getting everything to work and to run correctly. I mean, it was a chore. I mean, if you never did it, it's a chore, and this is my first time. So, but I got it to work, I got it to run, I got all the LEDs to light up, I got everything to correspond and make sure it's doing what it's doing. So that's it for now, guys. I mean, I'm kind of burnt out on this. Like I said, I got to clean this up a little bit. I got to figure out, I got to mount my battery tray up, a whole bunch of stuff. But I got it working, I got it rolling, got it moving. So now I'm going to get it programmed, get everything tidied up, find spots for all my switches, and a little bit better routing for everything. But we'll see how it works. So there it is. I mean, it was pretty cool too. I tested the hood. Fits on there as well. So we're pretty good with that. Back out a little bit here. I mean, it fits on there just like it did before. Awesome. Really happy about that. I was hoping I wouldn't have any hood issues or anything like that. So next time, everything will be tidied up. And we'll be running this bad. But actually, before we run it, I got these shocks real cheap online. They're 115 millimeter AX10 shocks. I think the stock Wraith are 103. So I'm gonna find a decent spring, softer spring I could put on here. You know, put some new shock oil in them and throw them on and see how they work. So next time, shocks, run the car. So that's all I got for tonight, guys. This is actually 2 days I've been messing around with this thing, so let me get this straight here. Alright, like I said, 2 nights messing with this thing, getting it in. I'm just happy the thing's in. I'm happy the thing worked. I really am. So that'll do it for me, guys. Stay tuned for next time. We'll get this thing running and driving, see if these shocks help out a bit. Hopefully they do it. Like I said, guys, I got 4 of them with springs, assembled for 25 bucks online. Couldn't say no. 115 millimeter. So we'll see how those work, see if they help out at all. So there you go, guys. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys later.